against her personal will to be in these shots, even if she's in part of a group. So if she's in the restaurant in the background and I'm showing everybody else, but she is there, she said she doesn't want to be in it. And so that happened. Welcome to France. I'm just getting out of bed and I booked an excursion today. This will probably be the only excursion I do with the ship. So I'll take you show you a little bit about what it was like. And important is that I don't forget one of these. These are the audio devices that you use to hear the tour guide. And this is very common on a river cruise. So if you're ever going on a river cruise, you will definitely have one of these. By the way, I figured this out last night. The alarm clock here also has a Bluetooth function to play music and a wireless charging thing on top. Nice. The excursion started out in a nicely air-conditioned bus driving around many historical sites outside of the old part of town before the walking tour began. The guide shared a lot of facts and inside information about the sites we were seeing, and I'm not going to go through everything we saw and learned on the tour. A few items of special interest are the campus of the European Parliament and the city's copy of the Notre Dame Cathedral, but with only one tower. Strasbourg is right on the border to Germany and has actually been part of Germany many times during its history, but after the Nazi occupation during World War II, which, surprisingly enough, I will be talking about again in this video, I'm pretty sure the city will now be staying part of France. One nice thing about doing these kind of city tours with a live guide and not just doing the buses where there's a recording playing is that the guide knows little insider things and can also answer questions. And she's saying that this pillar here next to the corner of the building, it's been known as the belly measurer for many years. And they say that the rich, chubby French men, if they went out for a night of dinner and drinks, if they could still fit through here, then they didn't overdo it and they were allowed to go home without a guilty conscience. So those are the kind of just like little interesting things. And there's even a little plaque on the wall commemorating that. I don't know. I think I'd make it. The tour is now over and I'm gonna try to find a nice place to get Flammkuchen for lunch and just explore the city on my own. It's Sunday, and just like in Germany, most of the shops are closed. So only things in the really touristy areas, other than restaurants, are open today. But there's a lot of cafes, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. And it is just so hot. I can't tell you how bad I want to jump into that water right now. I'm tired of sweating. All right, here's another little bit of history or some facts, which don't happen very often on the very unofficial travel guides, I know, but these buildings in Strasbourg and a lot of buildings in Strasbourg are very well preserved compared to so many European cities. And that's because you may have heard there was this war over here in Europe and a lot of cities got bombing. And that's why you don't see such a large concentration of old, like the really, really old buildings and houses in these European cities, because most of them are gone. And that's one of the things that makes Strasbourg special as well, is that there's just such a large percentage of these buildings still intact. Taking the train around Strasbourg was really easy, and the trains themselves were clean and modern and air-conditioned. The stretch I was on was also completely above ground, which let me see even more of the city, and I probably could have walked back to the ship, but it was just so hot. I'm almost back at the ship. It was about a, let's say, 10-minute walk from the stop, and I really just want to, you know, get a little bit of air con. Maybe close my eyes for 20 minutes, splash some cold water on my face, and then I'm gonna head back into the city. There's a ship over there, and I'm actually coming from the wrong side. I took a wrong turn coming from the train station, so I could have even got here sooner, but anyways, it's really doable. These below deck cabins here, I'm pretty sure are the crew cabins. They're a little bit further back in the same hallway that I'm in. And then the bigger windows with sort of the square form, those are the passenger cabins. And I'm in one of those, but on the other side. Oh, it's freezing cold in here, and I do not hate it. Can you see how sweaty I am? I'm so shiny, although I did put on some sunscreen about, I don't know, 3 hours ago, so maybe some of this shine is from the sunscreen. Anyways, like I said, I'm just going to regroup and freshen up, and then, I don't know, I think I'm gonna take the rest of the afternoon off, so the next thing you're gonna see is dinner. I know I've mentioned it several times in my river cruising series, but one of the main attractions of a river cruise is just the cruising, sitting on deck and watching the world go by. Before we get to Cocktail Cam, please just take a second to swipe up on that remote or phone screen and press the thumbs up button. And if you're into the relaxing kind of sightseeing that river cruising provides, make sure you stick around until after Cocktail Cam, because I spent a lot of time recording and I can't wait to share it with you. Et voila! It's time for Late Night Cocktail Cam, the time in the video where I tell you about things that I didn't show you in the video. And speaking of Cocktail Cam, I have not had any cocktails on this journey yet. Cocktails are included in the price of the cruise, which is a great thing, but I have been enjoying the wine selection and the beer. And today in Strasbourg, I would have liked to have one more glass of the local wine, but it was just so hot. I know I've been talking about this, and there was a time when I was walking through the city where I got kind of dizzy, and I thought, you know what, it's probably better if I don't have any more alcohol, at least not until I get back to the ship. So I just had one little glass of wine with my lunch, and it was a good wine, even though I don't typically enjoy white wine. I'm more of a red wine kind of person, but this area is famous for its white wine, so I had to try it. Well, first of all, after lunch, I did go back into the city and I got some tasty gelato. It was kind of expensive, but it was gelato and it was warm. I mean, the weather was warm, the gelato was cold, and that was fine. And I walked around a little bit more, just did a little bit more sightseeing and people watching. Came back to the ship, and then the Europa Meisterschaft, what is it called? The Europa Cup in women's football was happening, and it was Germany against England, and it was a really interesting match, but unfortunately England won, so congratulations to all of you English people out there. you have once again proven that
you can play football.
Maybe one of the most exciting things that happened then on the ship tonight, besides just dinner, I guess, there was a drawing, like a raffle. There was a raffle. So throughout the cruise, you could buy raffle tickets, and the cruise director came on the microphone at 8:45 this evening, and he said, just to remind everybody, this is your last chance to buy a raffle ticket. There's a lot of prizes you can win, and the main prize is a €250 gift certificate to use for your next Viva cruise. So I thought, all right, I'm going to buy one gift certificate or one raffle ticket and just see what happens. It was very sort of women friendly, I guess. There were scarves, necklaces, earrings, purses. There was one baseball hat, and then the main prize was the gift certificate. I didn't win anything, which is fine with me because other than the gift certificate, there was nothing that I would have really wanted, so whatever. Another interesting thing that happened tonight, interesting in perhaps a somewhat negative light, is in the evening, it's still so warm outside, and most of the people are on the top deck but sitting at the very front. And because I just wanted to deal with, I wanted to have some quiet and not have to talk to anybody or listen to anybody. So I went way to the back of the ship with a beer and was taking a lot of great recordings, which you're going to see in just a minute. And this woman came walking around, she was taking a lap, and we started talking, and it turned into one of these conversations. It turned into the interview, which is, I'm used to that. I've seen you taking pictures. What are you doing? And I told her I make content for social media. And then how does that work? How do you make money? How do you use that to pay your bills? And then it turned into do you have permission to record everybody on this ship? I think you should ask permission. She told me that she doesn't want to be in any of the shots and that it's against her personal will to be in these shots, even if she's in part of a group. So if she's in the restaurant in the background and I'm showing everybody else, but she is there, she said she doesn't want to be in it. And so that happened. And other than that, I just enjoyed spending some time up on the top deck watching the world go by. I even saw a falling or a shooting star. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to record that, but it was just so nice to sit up there and watch the world go by. I've said that before in the series, and I think I've also said that this stretch of the Rhine River is not really that pretty. It's very flat. There's not a lot of things to look at compared to my Danube cruise, which was like extremely picturesque. This is a little bit boring in a way, but still, I made some interesting recordings, I think, of just what the experience is like sitting on the top deck at night on this cruise, on this stretch of the Rhine River. And that's what I'm going to show you now as this video draws to an end. So thanks for hanging out with me today. Thanks for sweating or watching me sweat. Gosh, it was just so hot. Tomorrow we are going to be in the city of Mainz. Mainz, yeah, M-A-I-N-Z, which is not on the Main River. Mainz is not on the Main, it's on the Rhine. At the moment, I don't know what I'll be doing, but if you subscribe and check back in a couple days, you'll find out.